we feel that the benefits, the marketing benefits, aside from the fact that, we pay for a license of a song to be in a game, the majority of the benefits come in exposure and marketing, and it varies. I mean, how many mediums, offer this level of instantaneous mass exposure as a video game? The fact that you can have a song in a game like FIFA or Madden NFL and be heard, we know, and I'll go through the math in a moment here, the level of exposure is a song will be heard more than the number one record of every country around the world. Here's the math. We know, for instance, if somebody buys a game, it's not an individual act. I mean, in other words, we share it. It's a social activity, is my point. So I'll play a game, and I'll play it with my buddy and his buddy. The average is 2.5 people play each game. Okay, each game purchased. Each of us, particularly on a game, the average is 50 hours, but it raises up on games like Madden and other sports games. It'll be 90 to 100 hours each of us. So there's 2.5 people playing on that average of, let's say, 90 to 100 hours each. We'll put songs in to rotate about 2 times an hour during typical gameplay, because we know basically the way people typically play games, how much time they spend in menus, et cetera, et cetera. We chiron them. We brought that in 5 years ago. Those couple lines on the bottom left, which we all know from MTV. I think, the days of play it when you say it. I mean, radio, or say it when you play it, sorry. Radio still, you still wait around and wait for them to tell you what you heard and you don't get it. But I think most younger people who are brought up in MTV expect to be told. They want to be told visually what it is they're hearing. Anyway, you do that. You sell, 6, 7, 8, 9 million copies of a Madden or a FIFA, and you do the math on that, and basically the amount of spins that has occurred is over 1 billion. So that's some significant exposure. There is not a band that I know of that we have put in a game, and I don't care if it's Green Day to, Atreyu. I don't care what level, if it's a band that's sort of like happening but beginning to, get recognition, or a band that has been around for a decade. There is not one of those bands that has not come up to me when I've met them and said, X percent of kids at a gig every single night come up and say, oh my God, I heard you in Madden. I heard you in FIFA. There have been bands from Switzerland we've put in FIFA that are getting emails and participation in blogs from Brazil and Japan. I'll tell you a great example just happened. There was an artist we put from Trinidad in FIFA last year, and he ended up performing recently at the World Cup. And has never gotten radio exposure, nothing, only in FIFA last year. And he wrote me a note and said, if you could have only seen tens of thousands of people singing every word to the song I was singing that was in FIFA. So, I mean, it's that level of exposure. This is, and I'm using a bit of a marketing cliche here, but this is lean forward entertainment. This isn't like a radio where you're driving and you're doing something in its background. This is something where you are focused, you are forward, you're seeing the information, you're shaping your own soundtrack for the music that you just, discovered. You're deciding what you like, what you don't like, and it's a part of the you're participating, in the soundtrack and the broadcast, for lack of a better term, itself. So that's the marketing benefit. Now, that doesn't account for the other things we do. If you go to EA.com, which is a significantly traveled site because gamers want to go there and see what's coming up, again, it talks about all the bands that you just heard in the game. It gives you 60-second streams, which gives you information where they're touring, just anything that you need to become a fan of that band. We'll go 10 steps further. We've got the launch of Madden for Madden 2007, and 5 of the 35 bands are going to be on the Kimmel Show each night. And we're the ones that book them on there with the Kimmel Show. These are the bands from Madden. We've got bands on the gaming sites like IGN and GameSpots, where instead of just giving away the visuals from a game, we'll attach, a new band. We'll attach Rise Against, for instance, as the music, and we'll chiron it. So you'll get the new visuals from Madden, but like a mini video, but with Madden footage, and we'll expose it in that way. There's a lot of ways we get involved with taking it 10 steps further, and that's some significant marketing. I mean, at the end of the day, the worst case scenario is the greatest case scenario, which is you get programmed into the game itself, it gets rotated, and it gets heard by, millions and millions and millions of people. That's not a worst case scenario.